article this week about each team's path to winning the division. The Browns, obviously the biggest uphill climb in the division to win the AFC North this season, but I wanted to ask you guys.
By the way, just before you ask, I think it's possible the Steelers' path is just as tough as the Browns.
Yeah, I agree too.
I know they have the better organization and they've had the better history, but I don't know that the Steelers' path is any clearer than the Browns.
The Browns were listed 4th on ESPN, so we're going.
And they probably should be, but go ahead.
G, in your mind, we'll go around the horn. What's the blueprint for the Browns to win the AFC North in 2026?
You're gonna so this has a lot to do with other teams too. So what you're gonna have to have happen is Joe Burrow gonna have to miss half the year, which is he's
certainly possible.
He missed some time.
Sadly for me,
we need him. We need to see Joe Flacco in one of these games.
One,
but might be one. Two. We might see Flacco, and we talking about for the Bengals, right? That's one thing. He needs to miss some time. I would say about 6-7 games, and then he gonna need to get back. And then the Bengals will be talking about starting slow again and trying to end up the season hot. 2, there needs to be a issue in Baltimore. They need to, for the first time, have one of those seasons where it's like, hey, it just didn't work this year. Lamar Jackson is getting used to a new coordinator. He getting used to a new team. The coaching staff back and forth. Maybe he ends up coming out of the game and pulls up with an injury, and they talk about, oh my goodness, we need to stop running quarterback draws with Lamar Jackson and have that turmoil happen. If that sets up, you also need the Browns to have 2 or 3 games where some things bounce right early. What you want to do is catch one of these teams in the division early. Slipping. And they did it last year with a couple of them. They shouldn't have won that Green Bay Packer game, remember?
Yeah.
They slipped up and won a couple of these games at the end of the season, right? They beat the Bengals, and Bengals had the full offense. They beat Pittsburgh at home, and all Pittsburgh needed to do was just play well and win the division. They need that to happen. And then that's other people's stuff. For the Browns, they need to start and get that feeling. The Browns, the way the fans work is we are delusional. Everything is magnified. If it's bad, it's 10 to 20, 30 degrees worse than what we think. Mm-hmm. If it's good, we got the ability to play over our minds. Because I watched it with Joe Flacco, and I watched us turn a garbage team to a hot quarterback, and people started to feel the energy. If you can get a young fan base around you, and if you can have some things go good, and if you can, even if you lose some games, but it's entertaining, it gives you a little momentum to now all of a sudden they might be stupid enough to not realize that they're not supposed to be in the position they in, Earl. But they need 3 or 4 things to happen like that.
All right, so I agree. It's definitely some things that have to happen outside of your control. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drive to Cincinnati. Take a couple nice hot ladies with me. Jamar Chase is a ladies' man. Distract him over there. I don't wish injury on people. So with Joe Burrow, he's a fashion guy, right? We're gonna book Joe Burrow a trip to Paris for the entire year.
Yeah.
Right? Tell him he got this you got a fashion deal that's gonna pay you more 1 year than your NFL contract will, right? So that leaves just T. Higgins out here by himself, fishing for himself, wondering what's going on.
Right.
Right? Then I'm gonna go kidnap Lamar Jackson. Right? And I'm gonna hold him up somewhere in Mexico for the entire year.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pray that this is the year that Derrick Henry finally falls off a cliff. I feel like Derrick Henry been good forever.
Yes.
Like forever. And at a position to where running backs give you 3 or 4 years tops.
Yeah.
This dude been good for like 1,000,000 years, right?
It's amazing.
That's got to be a thing. I'm really not worried about Aaron Rodgers like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to make sure you keep your elbows greased up, your knees greased up to get through that, keep your joints fresh. Internally, man, the Browns got to have some positivity going on. They got to have some belief. The coaching staff has to handle their business. You need about top 15 quarterback play. You need to have a defensive unit that finish top 10. And you need to probably have a special teams unit that's about top 15, top 20 as well. You need all phases that's going to have to be comparable, not playing below average football in order for that to get done, of course, with everything else happening around.
No misses from the kicking. I would elevate the special teams game because they're gonna need to have like a game where the Browns blocked a punt, the Browns returned a kick for a touchdown, or they just hit 12 field goals.
Yeah, but misses happen. I think at the last season, boy, it got to a point to where just don't give up no long returns.
Yeah.
And you'll give yourself
that's
a
been a
chance.
major issue for them. And to your point, G, before, like last year, those things kind of happened. Burrow, again, missed half the season.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens were a mess.
Yeah, they were.
They were a mess last year. Both those teams were bad. But the Steelers surprised us again.
Again,
They were, they were mediocre, but everybody else in the division stunk.
Yeah.
But I would say this. I think about realistic expectations for the offense. And first of all, Shedeur Sanders is starting. That's the path, okay? Because he's the only hope at the position, in my mind. Then I need him to channel his inner Tyrod Taylor because Tyrod Taylor, for a minute with the Bills, was a solid NFL quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that's all Shedeur Sanders could be. Maybe he could be better. Maybe he's not even going to be that good. I don't know. But for this year, I think we would sign for what Tyrod Taylor did for a couple of years in Buffalo, where they were, I think the first year they were like 8-8, and then the next year they were like 9-7, and they made the playoffs in a division that wasn't very good. And in one of those years, I think he had like 20 touchdowns and 7 picks. He only averaged like 210 yards per game, but I would take that kind of that if Shedeur Sanders had that kind of season. That's not an outstanding season, but that's a good, solid season that could keep your team in the mix. You run the ball, you played great defense. That's what those Bills teams did. And if he could have a season like that, and the defense somehow, and I think this is a big, huge thing, I think the defense is still going to be good, but if their path to the playoffs is the defense can't drop off at all.
Yeah.
And that's going to be extremely hard, losing the best player in football, certainly the best defensive player in football. Not impossible, though, because there is a good amount of talent there. And if the defense could stay just as good overall, and Shedeur Sanders can play at I don't think I'm being unrealistic at all or unfair at all. At the Tyrod Taylor for a couple of years where he was at his best with Buffalo, if he could play at that level, they could run the football with Judkins, and the offensive line is just solid. I'm not asking it to be great. I'm asking it to be solid. Then that's the path. Yes, some other things would happen. Let's be realistic. The Bengals and Ravens are better teams. Mm-hmm. They have better quarterbacks. But you never know. Like, things happen. Injuries happen. Bad seasons happen. Guys don't play well for whatever reason. Maybe the Ravens get old. Maybe the Bengals defense, which looks improved to the point where maybe it's adequate, is not and still stinks. Who knows? So that's the path for me.
You need to be sneaky, right? To me, I look at this season as, I don't even look at it like, okay, look, this is the blueprint for the playoffs. I don't even think the Browns need that. If the Browns are just fun to watch, in every game you turn it on, you don't really know what to expect, but you're seeing young guys do some things. Like if Casey Concepcion runs a punt back the week before, but then the next week, your defense may struggle a little bit, but Denzel Boston shows you something. And then Harold Fannin Jr., like, if you can just be in these games in the fourth quarter, I think it changes the perception, because you'll come in and say, hey, listen, you got a bunch of guys, they're young. It's the same way the Guardians are.
Now we just got to learn how to close these games out.
The Guardians are a game back right now. They can't really hit the ball. But guess what? It's a bunch of young guys, and you never know what you're going to see when you turn the TV on. Yeah. You'll accept that because the expectations without Myles Garrett and a bunch of stuff are gone. But it only works if Shedeur Sanders is playing and you're not wasting your time looking to try to think with Deshaun Watson, because the mojo is different.
Because you want to be entertained by the offense. You want to feel like at the end of the year that the offense is going in the right direction. And if that's the case, whatever their record is, I think we'll all feel better about where the Browns are and, their chances of being better in the future. All right, let's leave it there. Later this hour, Mike had a chance to sit down one-on-one with one of the newest members of the Cavs. But when we come back, the Guardians salvaged their finale against the Rangers and scored 9 runs. You talked to G about their offense being terrible. It has been, except